Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 6, Day 4 of the LPL and our final series of the night between Invictus Gaming and Bilibili Gaming. We'll see who will take it today because, of course, the favourites into this one have to be Invictus Gaming, currently at the top of their group in the Eastern Conference. And Bilibili Gaming, I'm not going to say suffering or struggling recently, but compared to some of the recent upsurges we've seen from teams, not really seen as much out of Bilibili.
Yeah, we haven't seen continued growth from Bilibili just yet. We know they are getting better. I would specifically say the mid lane has continued to improve, but the team play themselves. There's strengths, there's definitely still strength for them, and they've got a very high ceiling. Their potential is great, but they're up against Invictus Gaming today, Pulse. They're literally up against the best team in the LPL right now. They're taking down everyone in their own conference, in cross-conference, and it is no easy feat for them to come into this set and actually put up as much of a fight as you'd want to see from them. But I do have high hopes for Bilibili Gaming.
For sure, and it's just like now looking at what are the points on the map that are going to be able to combat Invictus Gaming. Because when you look at Invictus Gaming, it's like, well, they have all strong winning lanes, and then you have Ning who's able to facilitate all of the winning lanes, and it seems to just be the formula that allows them to win. It doesn't matter about their team fights. That's maybe one of the only criticisms you can have about Invictus Gaming. Clean up your team fights, then you're definitively the best, but it never really becomes a problem because they just win.
It is a criticism that IG have of themselves as well, Pulse. That's the thing. IG know it's a weakness. They're working on that weakness and trying to make it into at least not a exposable weakness for themselves, cover it if need be, but also strengths. And something that you will note from their last set was that they had very good macro movements, especially around that Baron play in their second game. They looked super clean, and they were making team-based decisions that actually looked clean. So IG were doing extra things. They were developing, and that's in games and in sets where they might even be easy wins for them. They're still showing signs of growth. So if there is a weakness for IG, it is the team fighting. Absolutely. If there's a strength for Bilibili, it is the team fighting. So that should be a place where even if IG are getting better at it, the BLG should be able to exploit it.
Right, and then Bilibili as well, looking towards the laning phase, they need to survive, get out of that. You look towards the 2v2 and not only the top and jungle, but also the jungle and mid lane as well. You know, how does the patch currently, 8.4, we're looking to see how that has also affected those matchups.
Yeah, so patch 8.4 does have a lot of priority around the mid lane and the jungle. You've got a bunch of ganking junglers that we're seeing, the Skarnas, the Zacs, the Sejuanis that are running around, and ultimately, with all of those existing, with less wards available, it is so important to have mid priority. And that's why I'm so afraid for BLG. Rookie just has mid-priority by being Rookie. He's just that good at mid lane, and he plays things like the Cassiopeia that got buffed in this patch, and that's a very worrisome sign for the side of Athena and SKS to combat that.
Exactly. How do we even play around that? Because even if you discount the patch, it's like, well, you're facing down Rookie. And every single time we see Invictus Gaming against almost any team in the LPL, because we have so many good mid laners, you're like, well, the matchup in this one is definitely going to be mid lane. It's Rookie versus X. And that's how you look at it. But then it's like, how does the jungler impact that? But then you also look towards the top side of the map. How is that going to interact? Because it's Amazing J and the Shy at the end of the day. So we'll take a look at the rosters in a second. But pretty standard from both these two teams. We're not seeing big swap-ups in terms of rosters. We can take a look at the lineups for Invictus Gaming. The Shy in the top lane, Ning, Rookie, Jaculov, and Baolan still going to be down in the bottom lane and for the rest of the team.
And of course, Duke's still sitting there on the bench for IG in the top lane, the Shy playing. As we go over to BLG, it's Amazing J, SKS Athena, Jin Zhao, and Road.
Indeed. So Bilibili Gaming definitely have their work cut out for them in this matchup, but they do have ways to try and win this one. So we'll take a look at the stats for both of these two teams, but we are also focusing in on top lane, looking towards the Shy and Amazing J. Is Amazing J able to stand up to the Shy? Because he's shown himself to be an incredibly strong top laner, not only in the 1v1, but also the fact that he utilizes those carries up there.
And he's been a big star from the team so far for BLG, Amazing J. Him as an individual has actually been contributing the most to carrying games. Athena has been showing up here and there lately, so you do have to give some credit to him. But he was showing up on the Zoe. Like, he mastered the Zoe, he got 1 week on it, he was feeling good, and now Zoe's gone, so he doesn't have that anymore, and he's going to have to show something new again, and we get another opportunity to see if Athena continues to grow this with the Sleepy Korean in the mid lane for BLG.
And you're just taking a quick look at these stats. First in almost every single metric Invictus Gaming against Bilibili. When you look at them, seems like a lot of the mid-tier, middle-of-the-pack type of stats, which is what you expect from, I would say, a middle-of-the-pack team, maybe on the upper end. That is a fantastic sign.
It just wouldn't be an Amazing J game without a million signs of Amazing J in the crowd, would it?
100%. And of course, because Bilibili Gaming is a streaming website, but specifically you see a lot of anime on there, you see a lot of those signs as well that will reflect that. So always nice to see the fans bring that out. But again, talking about this matchup, seeing how this one is going to come together, what do you think is really going to impact the map? Is it going to be top lane jungle? Is it going to be jungle mid? What's going to be the breaking point?
I mean, I'd be looking at jungle mid personally, but I do know that if BLG are going to win anywhere, it'd be through that top lane strength.
Yeah, we'll see if that is the case as we get into this one. We're going to hear from Amazing J himself before we head over to the casters.
最近我们队伍状态还可以吧，就有输有赢，没有全部输掉。就 IG 的话，他们是一个现在为止最强的队伍吧。就我觉得他们的中山野都特别的厉害。对帅是我一个老对手了吧，我之前排位之前排到他，但是胜率比较低，就尽量的去在比赛里面打赢他吧。
Wow, a lot of respect coming out from Amazing J there, not just towards Invictus game, but also towards the Shy in the top lane, who says he doesn't have the most impressive win-loss record against in solo queue.
Well, to be fair, I've looked at AJ solo queue, and he doesn't have the most impressive win-loss record across any of his opponents, so that's nothing new.
Yeah, he's getting burned not only by IG before we even interview them, but also by Indiana Frosco and Black here on the desk. But let's take a look at that matchup, the Shy against Amazing J. And Amazing J, he's got nothing to be shy about, so to speak, because his stats are pretty good in the LPL.
Yeah, and his champion pool has been pretty selective. He's kind of hit or miss. I talk about BLG and one of their primary weaknesses. Rusty was kind of echoing it on the analyst as this idea of continued growth, and a big issue is effective champion pool. AJ plays about 3 different champions, even reaching for the Maokai when we hadn't seen Maokai globally pretty much at all or in any other LPL team. And so I'm curious if as we transition to 8.4, as the meta starts to shift, especially on the top lane, if he's going to be able to reach that, whereas I have no problem believing that the Shy is ready to go on 8.4. I actually think this is the best patch possible for Invictus Gaming.
You can also see the difference in terms of those two stats. The Shy, very focused on being a laner himself, has really high solo kills. He's #1 in the league for that. Very high CS per minute, very high damage in his lanes as well. Whereas Amazing J, he's the lowest in terms of solo kills. He's the lowest when it comes to picking up the damage in lane as well, but really high kill participation, likes to group up with his team and do work with his team in those team fights.
And it's different identities. The fact that BLG are a 5v5 oriented team fight and nothing happens without that. They have one of the lowest goal differences at 10 and 20 minutes. Usually when they win games, they're behind in gold for 99% of them, then find that late game team fight and then close it out. Whereas Invictus Gaming are a suffocating win lane, win game team. And that's why I think 8.4 is such a pivotal patch for them. As you start removing some of those safety nets of having the trackers and of having that early vision, more reliant on just the jungle mid skirmishing power, then of course Rookie and Ning are going to shine in this type of environment.
And it's been game after game where we've run into this exact same storyline for Invictus Gaming against opponent right now in the LPL, where it's IG, they're going to look to try and beat you in lane and use that as a snowball lead. Your opponents, they're going to look to try and team fight you. There's no exception here for BLG, where they're going to try and do exactly that. Survive the onslaught of the laning phase against IG, move into those mid and late game team fights. But time and time again, IG have shown that you just can't quite beat the strategy that they have right now. We're going into Champion Select for game #1. Karzik, Sion, Galio, all taken away by Invictus Gaming. Whereas Bilibili Gaming, they're going to ban out Tom Kench as well as Olaf to kick things off.
But already we're seeing a very different vibe coming out of IG in terms of their drafting strategy. I think they're the smartest drafting team right now in the LPL, and one of their big things has been a huge priority on banning away mid laners and then utilizing a counter pick scenario for Rookie. And so it's going to be an Azir. BLG didn't ban it. It was banned the entire series before. Azir on 8.4 has been tapped a little bit now. He can draw minion aggro with his W. His Q cooldown has been moved around, but he still has a lot of that efficient priority and push priority in the mid lane.
Also still very mobile, still does a lot of damage late game, and has plenty of crowd control to help out with the team. Varus is the final ban from BLG. They're looking to pick up an AD carry first.
But I then also want to go back to the Azir pick very quickly. It's this idea that Athena has really only been relevant on 2 champions. Rusty said it on desk. I'm going to say it again on cast. It's Zoe and Azir. And without those champions, he has been non-existent. So this is Invictus Gaming kind of switching up from their standard drafting style in 8.4, but also a very specialized tactics against Athena specifically.
If I'm not wrong, Zoe has also gone to one of the highest win rates of a mid lane champion to one of the lowest in solo queue since the nerfs that have affected her in 8.4, which is the patch we're playing on now.
Bye-bye, Zoe.
Goodbye. So Athena, 2 champions already removed from the table. He's going to have to pick up something different here to impress for BLG, who have picked up Sejuani as well as Xayah as their first 2 picks.
Xayah has certainly been skyrocketing globally on this patch, getting a lot more priority. Again, if it's a patch where there's less jungle vision that's going down because Tracker's Knife isn't available, having winning pushing lanes becomes more valuable because it gets more safety for your jungler to check and to find knowledge of the enemy jungler with their face, you know, putting their eyes all the way in it.
And up against Xayah is going to be the Ezreal. Jaculov picks it up with Baolan going to Alistar. We saw a first pick Alistar for Suning earlier today.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that I entirely agreed with it. Rakan's also risen up in priority simply because Xayah has come up in priority, and those two moving in tandem. I do understand the concept, though, that when you have junglers like Skarner who are in such high demand, that Alistar becomes that much more valuable, because as, again, we've moved away from Tracker's Knife, we're seeing more lane ganks in terms of the LPL and globally. Alistar, incredibly valuable there. His ability to set up and offer power to junglers who don't have that immediate CC, or even just bounce off of junglers that do have hard CC and like to gank, he offers an immediate kill pressure there.
And JackeyLove, going back to the Ezreal, it's a champion he's played quite a few times, still very popular in the LPL despite the multiple nerfs that have come to not only Kleptomancy, but also Ezreal himself throughout the multiple patches we've had.
I mean, you say there's been a nerf to Kleptomancy. Has
there really been a nerf to Kleptomancy? No, after my solo queue games last night, I don't think so.
I want the numbers. I want to see exactly where it is.
There has to be a bug in the system somewhere. Spaghetti Code has messed things up once again, but the next two bans coming through are going to be Nana top lane against the Shy. Talia's being banned out against Athena in the mid lane, so still throwing mid lane bans towards BLG, with Skarner being taken away, and Ryze the final ban.
Okay, I love the fact that they took away both Ryze and Talia. I think both these champions with the new itemization on 8.4 are incredibly devastating. All of the mana, all of the shields for Ryze specifically, and then Talia, how she's making use of, likewise, more mana that's being stacked onto these items, as well as the adjustments to Ludens.
Still very heavy targeted bans towards Athena's mid lane champion pool. Galio taking away Talia as well as Ryze. Does he go towards the Kassadin? We've already seen it played once today, and it gets locked in for Athena in the mid lane.
Okay, so now I get to talk about the Kassadin. When we were talking about this, I was looking at kind of like secret power picks that I think not a lot of people are paying attention to. Like Ryze, of course, is going to jump out. Talia, that's going to jump out. Those are the obvious ones. I think Kassadin late game is probably the strongest position that he's ever been. Now, the problem is getting him to late game, especially with the adjustments to the Elder Drake, especially with the adjustments to Baron. It seems like it's much easier to snowball and then to close off of grabbing those initial buffs. But if you get him there, if he gets his 5th, his 6th itemization, especially with the changes to Death Cap, Kassadin is devastating in his damage potential.
Death Cap has not only higher flat AP, but also bigger percentage boost in the rest of your ability power. And you were telling me how a lot of the new item changes have brought mana back into early item builds, which would help Kassadin out a lot.
Yeah, more mana's been stacked on. He's a champion that relies heavily on ratios versus flat, so if you have high ratios on Death Cap, it just boosts him up even more.
We'll have to see what they're going to are going to be able to do to shut him down, because they've picked up Jarvan in the jungle for Ning, and they're going to throw the Shy on Vladimir in the top lane. IG, for a lane-dominant team, have picked up a very team-fight-heavy team composition, whereas BLG, Amazing J's gone back to the carries. Camille gets locked in.
And it's curious that they even allowed Amazing J's Camille to go in. I'm going to echo Clement now and talk about how really, there's not a lot of options against Camille. It's hard to shove her out of the lane. It's hard to deal with her. She has great chase potential. She offers so much late game for lockdown and threat on your ADC. And when you're drafting her specifically into a team like Invictus Gaming, that's scary for JackeyLove, because IG have said in interviews that they really do still rely and try to build the team around their ADC. And as Ezreal, you have that added safety, but Camille doesn't care about that. She's going to lock you down anyway with the ultimate and kill you.
Yeah, once you're in that arena, there's no getting out unless you kill her or you die or somehow survive long enough for the team to back you up. BLG, they do have some split push potential with the Camille being picked up for Amazing J. It's not his first time he's picked up the champion.
We say that, and yes, I agree with you, but simply because it's BLG, I'm like, they're never going to split push with that champion. They're only going to look for deep teleporting flanks. They're only going to look to dive into the background. They have run so many 1-4 and 1-3-1 compositions and never executed on side lane pressure. It's just not in BLG's playbook.
It's just every single time. It's just a ruse, Frostcrow. Making sure that the team thinks that you're going to go for that 1-4. Doesn't happen. But
the only one getting played is me, Fish, because I have expectations, and then I'm let down, and I don't know what to expect anymore.
Do you really get let down, though, when BLG make this big teleport flank and throw the game sideways, up on its head, and actually pick up a win?
Because,
I mean, is that really let down?
No, and because you're casting, it's probably going to happen again. You're like the miracle powder for BLG.
Well, let's see if BLG are going to be able to do it here, because IG have looked unstoppable at the moment. They're leading the pack in the LPL. They've taken down EDG. They've taken down Snake. What is BLG to them today? But BLG, they are the miracle workers. We'll have to see if they can pick this one back and try and pick up a win for their team, because they've been on a hot streak at the moment. They must be feeling good about this one going into game number 1 against Invictus Gaming. Oh no, get that off. No, stop it.
Bilibili is, of course, a streaming video platform in China, specifically recognized for its huge catalog of anime. So I'm sure Pulse is very well acquainted with Bilibili Gaming. Gave me the thumbs up, so that's confirmed.
How did we get Amazing Jay on the team that has the anime streaming website? These are just two things that somehow go so well together, but are also devastating at the same time.
Some things are just meant to be. As we take a look at the keystones, I'm trying to quickly look through, see if I notice anything special or in particular.
Doesn't seem like there's anything too drastic. Cassidy goes for Comet, as you'd expect. Airy in the bottom lane for Road, not going to the unsealed spellbook, which you've seen a lot of Rakan's pick up to go Exhaust Ignite at level 1.
I do want to take note, though, of what our observer just showed us, and it was a very early ward placed by AJ on his own red buff. So typically with Sejuani, you go buff to buff and then grab the Scuttle Crab, but looks like she's going for a full clear, and we'll see what Ning does with the information, see if he looks for a potential late invade to really contest SKS.
Already picked up his blue buff, now going towards the Grumpus head. Ning has gone straight from his red buff over towards Wolf Camp, so he's moving towards the top side of the map. Very aggressive level 1 here coming out from Road as well as Jinjiao. Road jumps in, Baolan knocks back Jinjiao to stop him from getting any damage down, but Jackie Love takes a ton.
And that's exactly how that matchup works. I mean, the thing is Rakan can have added range and start trying to poke and whittle you down, especially because he does have Comet utilizing his Q. But in just straight up trades like that, it's very easy for Ali just to punt away the enemy ADC. And then if he holds his Pulverize, especially post level 2, as Rakan's trying to disengage from the fight, we'll just tap him with it and Rakan will lose out.
I don't think Jackie Love cares about that trade anyway. Look at his items. He has 2 sacks of gold picked up just from level 1 and level 2.
I told you, Fish, where are the numbers? They tell me Klepto's nerfed.
Look, it's absolutely silly. Meanwhile, top side of the map, Amazing Jay, you can see his runes picked up here. Still going for the Boots as well as Biscuit. Also picking up the Nullifying Orb to negate some of the magic damage that comes out from Invictus Gaming.
It was hilarious. I was looking at Vladimir. I was like, yeah, Gangplank actually has also received a lot of nerfs, realizing that that wasn't actually a Gangplank. This is probably the first time that I've seen an LPL game without a Camille Gangplank into the top lane. Camille running Comet, that's pretty standard. Helps her with her poke, helps her out with those trades. See what she actually itemizes to deal with the Shy. The Shy has, usually we recognize him for his ability to win pretty much every single 1v1. When he came into the league, he was such a dominant force. But recently, he's really been sliding backwards. He hasn't been as potent and powerful in these 1v1s as we expect.
No, he has not. Amazing Jay also been the complete opposite to the Shy so far in this league, looking to try and see if he can come back into the top lane matchup. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Rookie against Athena. Rookie has been a star of the LPL for a long time now, whereas Athena always kind of been that middle of the pack player.
Yeah, and a lot of Athena stats that we can see have been heavily inflated because primarily his champions have been Azir, specifically his damage per minute, 3rd right there in the LPL. So I'm curious to see how Athena is going to take the transition from 8-1, which has been all of LPL's games, to 8-4, and seeing if that stat remains high and if the sleepy Korean in the mid lane has finally woken up.
Oh, he doesn't have the sleepy trouble bubble to rely on either, after Zoe's been nerfed so heavily. And here are the Azir nerfs as well. There were some slight nerfs. He now, as you mentioned, draws minion aggro when he attacks you with Sand Soldiers. And I believe that's a little bit of cooldown reduction on his Q as well.
So trying to create some windows in those trade patterns. And speaking of trade patterns...
And in the bottom lane, sorry. Jackie Love goes aggressively forward with the help of Baolan, gets that final stun, and now Jinjiao and Road get an opportunity to return some to the Alistar. So both bottom lane duos doing fairly well so far.
And there we go. That's how that works. But as I was talking about, Alistar rising up in priority for the LPL. I was curious if he'd make a return because of how he's going to synergize with champions like Jarvan.
And they're going in for another aggressive invade. They get Ning down to the bottom lane undetected, but Jinjiao and Road both able to get out from that gank.
Really nicely done by Road. He was the primary target there, is able to maintain his flash and utilizes his W to create distance and get to safety. So flash and Ignite traded, and only just the summoner spells gone from Xayah.
Yeah, able to sneak Ning down into the bottom lane as well. Still keeping track of Jackie Love's items there. 3 sacks of gold picked up with Kleptomancy. I don't understand why whenever I play a Kleptomancy champion, I don't get this lucky with the item pickups. I normally get about 16 health potions.
Hold on though, return gank from SKS.
No summoner spells for Baolan, and he's not level 6 on Alistar at the moment.
He's going to be the target, and they're going to step up for this creep. No, be brave.
They're playing very safely here, IG. Ning is on the top side of the map, so they don't have their jungler anywhere close by, as well as no wards in the river for them. They go aggressively down. They're not able to lock down Jackie Love, and Road jumps back out.
And what's interesting is SKS is actually responding to the mid lane. So you've got 3 people converging on this right now.
Trying to lock down Rookie. Rookie just slid forward, has his ultimate available, knocks back Amazing J, but he finds SKS coming in from the backside. He'll get locked down by the Frozen as well. BLG, they get first blood onto Athena. Teleport gets complete by the Shy. He's only level 5 on the Vladimir. Does have Ning charging forward as well, but still first blood picked up by BLG.
And so there we go. SKS choosing not to commit on Baolan and instead focuses all of his attention into the Kassadin. This is the champion that they need to get snowballed, because otherwise Azir is not necessarily going to outscale him, but just offer so much more for the team, as well as keep up with a possible late game scaling from Kassadin.
To start off this match, BLG are doing well, very aggressive on the bottom side of the map, and also grouping up nice and early to get a kill in the mid lane, helping Athena out bridge the early game to the mid game for the Kassadin.
And what's great is also seeing AJ getting involved in that play. So many criticisms of BLG have been how they stay so spread out for so long. They kind of sit in losing lanes. They never draft correctly for it. And then they fall behind so quickly in gold. But very different look for them already. About 7 minutes in the game, AJ unlocks himself from his lane. SKS prioritizes the mid lane, prioritizes the correct champion, and putting themselves on a very different foot.
To even add more to that, this is against Invictus Gaming, one of the teams that are so well known for their laning phase, one of the teams that are well known to be able to shut you down nice and early. For BLG to be able to step up in this matchup is a big statement. The Shy takes a losing trade against Amazing J as well underneath his own turret.
And it could be a little bit of arrogance coming out of Invictus Gaming. When you've been so dominant in the lane phase for so long, sometimes you will overlook, some of these key champions like the Camille for AJ. Give it to him. This is fine. I can beat his Camille.
It's a very team-fighting base composition that's been drafted by Invictus Gaming in this match. We'll have to see if that's something they're trying to branch out towards, because the entire 8.1 patch that we played on and 8.2 has been about IG splitting up the lanes. Perhaps 8.4, they try to swap things up, which would be really weird, judging how this patch is so based around the laning phase dominance.
Yeah, and so far we're going to see how this lane phase dominance is going to pay out as we possibly contest this red buff. There's been a lot of defensive pings from BLG, and you can actually see they're pulling Kassadin, trying to place really defensive early vision to make sure that Sejuani's not contested, because they know Ning is on this top side of the map.
Just waiting inside the tri-brush here. Amazing J has been careful in how he's been trading against the Shy. But SKS should be able to secure his red buff. No contest coming out from IG. Now it's sending back to base.
And so far it's been a relatively quiet early game, save for some little bursts of action. You can see IG are kind of playing with the tide of mid-priority, and anytime Rookie gets unlocked, he's clearing out vision, he's trying to create that ramp up into the top lane. Pretty much play around the top side of the map, while bottom has been pretty much in an island as far as IG are concerned. They've
both been fighting quite aggressively in the bottom lane, but have not been able to get anything out of it. Jackie Love as well as Baolan have the push against Jinzhao on road for now. Both bottom lane doors will hit level 6.
But I would have liked to see Ning go back to the bottom lane. You burned the summoner spells on Jinzhao. Yes, the wave was held pretty close to the tower, so quite defensive position. And hold on, because here comes SKS to punish that.
It's spotted out as soon as they jump back in, but there's the ultimate being used by Road. Jumps back on top of Jackie Love, still has his flash
Level
available.
7.
But Arcane Shift is already used. Pops the heal first to get a burst of movement speed. Good stun coming out from Baolan will stop SKS from going any further forward.
Wow, holds the ultimate from Sejuani there.
Didn't use it too recklessly, nor tried to find an advantage there in that bottom lane trade. IG able to protect their AD carry.
That is a lot of respect. Yes, both mid laners started to move there. Rookie, I believe, had the inside track, and there is control vision set up, so you wouldn't be able to see Azir and track how quickly he was coming down. But I feel like SKS could have pushed for more there.
Yeah, but this mid lane matchup has already changed, and it's gone drastically in Athena's favor. He's not afraid to step up and trade against Rookie now.
But back to my original point, I wish that Ning would spend a little bit more time bottom, especially because it's also an Infernal Drake. They didn't take the opportunity to punish Jinzhao's lack of summoners. Yes, he's missing the heal still, but the flash is available. Likewise, also level 6, so has the ultimate there for disengage potential. And I feel like you're wasting a lot of the power of Baolan on that Alistar.
He spent a lot of time on the top side of the map, was not able to get anything for it.
Yeah, didn't contest SKS, wasn't able to press the advantage for the Shy in the top lane.
Instead, just happy feet around the map for a little bit. Now he's clearing out the rest of his jungle minions as SKS has been a little bit more proactive. Ning has been farming up slightly more. He's about 10 CS ahead of Sejuani. It's been fairly quiet, as you mentioned. Just been pockets of aggression across the map, but very few kills. Only one being picked up in the mid lane for BLG. However, despite all that, it's 1,000 gold lead for IG, just naturally through the laning phase as well.
And a lot of that is on JackeyLove. If you take a look at the CS, yes, there is a wave that's going to be pushed into Jindal, but 104 to 85. And it's just been these short burst trades and constantly keeping Jinjiao underneath the tower, while JackeyLove's just a spell flinger. Just trying to punish him.
Been staying about 10 CS ahead of Jinjiao. On top of that, has Kleptomancy to give him a nice gold spike on top of that. So eventually we'll be able to take a look and see how much gold there is between the two AD carries. But IG are exactly where they'd like to be, slightly ahead in the laning phase, but not as dominant as we've seen them be against other teams. However, in the mid lane, Athena gets jumped on by Rookie. Good rift walk before the ultimate comes out from Azir, gets him back to safety.
And here comes the counter. Hold on.
Amazing J's looking to try and fight top side of the map. Shy uses his ultimate nice and early. Amazing J's trying to collapse away, flashes away from Vladimir.
He can still be dove.
He's got to be very careful here. Ultimate is available for Amazing J. Takes a lot of damage though. Tries to get the hook shot, just jumps back out away from the Shy.
At that point though, the Shy was just waiting pretty much for his W cooldown to be back up before he would feel comfortable playing with the aggro there as well as the Camille ultimate. He may overstay his welcome though, because now we can see Athena just underneath.
Amazing J is here, jumps up, doesn't get the stun, but slows him down. Athena's going to try and hunt him down, but they don't commit too much towards the pick on Vladimir.
Yeah, just trying to bait that one out. The fact that he held W, that he has the flash, pretty much just says, how deep are you really going to chase me?
And spotted out by the control ward as well. Meanwhile, Ning trying to get a gank going onto the bottom lane, but BLG initiate first. They have SKS in their back pocket. Will spot out Java now, trying to back away from this one. Jinjiao gets a good rip, but that's a 3-man knock-up, as well as a Cataclysm coming in from Jarvan. Ning now fairly low. Jinjiao's trying to kite this one out. Teleports into the bottom lane. Amazing J gets there first, but look at Rookie. He's already rotated down here, throws out the soldiers. One cancelled, and Cassidy walks away.
And finally, IG pull the trigger on the play that I've wanted them to. You look at the mid lane, Azir versus Cassidy, and Cassidy has the Rift Walk, has the flash available. It was never going to work there. And Ning finally says, you know what? Let's try it again, what was so successful early on in this game. Let's go down bottom, let's team up with Balan and his signature Alistar pick, and let's make it happen.
They get a single kill for themselves. They're now 2,000 gold ahead of BLG. On top of that, the Shy's gotten good damage on the top lane outer turret against Amazing J. Athena even being forced to rotate up there to make sure it doesn't fall. And
slowly but surely, this is the classic BLG as they are falling close to 2k gold behind already. But taking another look at this, I'm just very impressed with Balan. Yes, JackeyLove does a good job. He's a good Ezreal player. We expect this. Hits all of his skill shots, disengages appropriately, but the multiple knockups by Ning and then Balan playing defense, even though Alistar's just standing between the Ezreal and the Sejuani, it meant that SKS was never going to feel comfortable trying to look for you know, a trading kill. The Balan didn't focus in on, I just have to hit my CC and knock people up. He was playing offense and defense in that play.
Felt fairly awkward as well. Seemed like after the missed engage coming out from Road, once JackeyLove Arcane shifted away from the knockup, felt like that would have been the sign for BLG to get the heck out of there. Thought they could still fight that one through. Costed them a single pick. And we've complimented BLG for looking proactive so far. SKS has been able to make multiple ganks down to the bottom lane, has looked at the mid lane and top lane and farmed up quite well. Whereas Ning's been happy feeding around, not getting too much done. But it's still, just through the laning phase alone, IG that have picked up this lead, seemingly out of thin air.
But we expect this of Invictus Gaming, so I'm still not ready to wave the white flag for BLG just yet. They put themselves in this position every single time. Whoa, that was interesting.
Rookie looking to try and go aggressive against Athena. Does absolutely no damage with his Sand Soldiers against Cassidy. And they're going for initiation. Ning was just sitting in the mid lane with Rookie there. Rookie forced to flash away. Now he needs to flag and drag out. Hello? Are you two okay?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It feels like every time Ning is within 500 units of Rookie, he's kind of having a brain freeze a little bit.
Yeah, I think NASA wants to know how that moon landing is going for Jarvan and Azir at the moment, because they're not on this planet right now. Costed them a couple of summoner spells, but they're doing okay. Athena still pretty much ahead of Azir at the moment, not in terms of gold, but is able to fight him one-on-one nice and easy.
Yeah, and going for the Cassidy build that I actually prioritize. So the first Cassidy that we saw from Knight in Suning versus FPX, he went for the Roa, which Roa, strong item right now. It's coming back a lot more into standardized builds, but this time around going for the Abyssal Mask. So I much prefer this, especially against IG's composition, and it's part of the reason why Athena's not really, he's kind of unmovable, if you would say, in that mid lane at this point.
Might take him a little bit more time to scale up to the huge damage threat that Cassidy is, but at least now he is fairly useful in the mid to early game. He's going to be able to pick up his second blue buff as well, as SKS will donate this over to Cassidy.
But it's kind of a question about when BLG are actually going to feel confident to then pull the trigger. Because if you look at their itemization, if you look at their champion breakpoints, again, it's still an Infernal Drake. And IG's composition is going to spike much earlier on and be in a good position to actually go for that Infernal. They just need to now make a concentrated effort to move their vision line forward. They have it placed very defensively, so they need to get priority over bot lane, unlock Bao Lan, get priority over mid lane, unlock Rookie, and then start moving with Ning to clear out BLG's vision and really execute on Infernal.
Well, already the top lane out of turret's been taken down by IG, so they have priority on the top lane. Let's see how they transition. That's some advantage to not only the mid lane as well as bottom lane for the rest of their team.
And that's the other thing. They can also just be very patient and continue to isolate the Shy and AJ, because eventually someone is going to have to help AJ. And again, that's another big target put on the Infernal Drake. If you go top, if you try to dig out your Camille, we're just going to take this for free.
We also say IG build around their AD carry frequently, and there's no exception here, as JackeyLove's already picked up 2 items for himself in the bottom lane. Jinjiao still yet to complete his first. Looking for an Essence Reaver, I believe, with the components he's picked up.
Sorry, I'm just very impressed about the patience that IG are displaying on the map right now.
Very patient.
Are just saying, we're not going to start the Elder unless we know, Infernal unless we know 100% that we're going to get it.
Well, they're going to start it now. Mason J doesn't have his teleport available, but the Shy does. He also just knocked him away from top lane inner turret. Infernal Dragon falls nice and easy. IG get the objective, and there's no response coming out from BLG.
Yeah, and they get the objective, and they get massive damage on the top lane tower, and that's the key phrase there that you said, Fish. There's 0 response from BLG. They were pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place, and this is why I say that 8.4 is going to be so devastating for Invictus Gaming because of their ability to just manually win lanes. There's less vision, there's less control, and they're just going to choke you out that much cleaner.
Well, they're going to try and see if they can lock down the Shy. Ultimate used by Mason J to keep him there, and now SKS to group up. Mason J taking a lot of damage. Hexdrinker gets popped. Hook shock over the wall. The Shy flashed over this one. Stun is available, and they get that single kill, even bringing Cassidy up to the top lane.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't get to participate in that one, but finally punishing the Shy for overstaying his welcome. His team had reset the map, they had made their back, so there was no reason for Vladimir to be that far forward.
Yeah, but they only get a single kill for that. It's a little bit too little too late almost of BLG.
I mean, it's not going to translate into any sort of objective, but they get something out of it. Like, there was one play to really be made on the map, and that was it, and they took it.
Release some pressure from the top lane for Amazing J. Still yet to complete his Trinity Force after going for Hexdrinker first. However, up against the Shy, who already has his Morellonomicon, as well as his support item complete, now looking for what seems to be a Proto Belt pickup.
Proto Belt Morello, so going for a... we always had these questions about, as you remove Spooky Ghost, what Vladimir's build would be, and then we saw this a lot in the LPL, where they would go Eye of the Wardens? Watchers?
Yeah, Eye of the Watcher.
Eye of the Watcher, and instead of going back to the traditional Proto Belt build. So I kind of like the Eye of the Watcher's Proto Belt Morello combo here, simply because, again, no Tracker's Knife. If you have champions like Karma, like Vladimir, who can itemize Eye of the Watchers, it compensates for your lack of vision from your jungler. So when we see Doinby play later on, I actually suspect that he's going to have a higher priority on picking that Karma.
He's been really well known for picking up supports in the mid lane for his team. Now these two teams, however, seem to be doing that, all about damage in the mid lane at the moment. Nash's Tooth already picked up for Azir. Looking across from Athena now, trying to go towards an early Lichbane, it seemed, for Cassidy.
Yeah, pretty standard. Abyssal into Lichbane. My question is when Cassidy will start taking off post 3rd item into 4th item, where the death cap will actually fall into his build path. If he goes for it at all, we'll see. I would expect. Aww.
Get the heck out of their lane. JackeyLove and Bao Lan do not want them down in this bottom lane at the moment, and IG, with that recall, should probably take bottom lane out of turret.
I'm surprised that Invictus Gaming didn't try to utilize their priority over top or their power over top and control to actually secure also the Rift Herald, and it's still been a very slow burn, 20 minutes in this game, 1-2 on the kill board, and finally the bottom tier tower is falling.
Still looking to put pressure on the Shy in the top lane. Good damage onto Amazing J.
SKS.
The Hemo plays dealing a lot of damage towards Camille, but Hexdrinker nullifies most of it. SKS does get in the back line, so Shy says, look, I'll fight both of you, but he does get stun locked and should be taken down. Amazing J with his 2nd kill.
Yeah, I want it to look for the outplay there. Meanwhile, Invictus Gaming are making use of the fact that the Shy is drawing so much pressure top lane. They can actually just rotate bottom lane because, look, we prepared this one for you earlier.
And that's what they're going to do. However, BLGs say if you're going to go bottom side of the map, we're moving towards Baron. SKS is waiting to start this one up. There are multiple wards that have spotted out these rotations. Mason J gets some time to take down the top lane outer turret, whereas 4 members of BLG just grouping up around the Baron buff river.
But Invictus Gaming have a ward. Don't do this!
Oh, Ning's gonna get spotted, gets cancelled, pulled back by the taunt that comes out from Road. Ning takes too much damage. Jinjiao's gonna be able to lock him down, and Ballard pops the ult to try to survive a little bit longer. Jackie Love and Rookie will group up to save the rest of the team.
So I was gonna congratulate Invictus Gaming because they had some clever vision throughout that river. I don't think Rookie should be able to lock down the Fawn. There he goes. They had clever vision locked down on that river that they had supplied through Ning and the Shy, and they were actually able to see that the Baron was a possibility. But having that information, Ning's like, I wonder where the enemy team was. I just saw them walk through here, and then continued to check with his face.
Which is
Questionable.
whatever Cassidy said, basically. Mid lane turret is going to fall. Oh, not a mid lane turret. Sorry, an Emperor of Shurima's turret is going to fall, which means absolutely nothing. That just held the lane a little bit longer for IG there. Despite the proactive plays from BLG, they are 4 kills to 1. They've been able to pick back a turret for themselves. Still 4,000 gold behind Invictus Gaming.
And the key thing is that Ezreal is now online. He's completed his Muramana. You could see the damage being dished out right there. Azir now also has the Void Staff as well as the Nashers. And yes, Azir will continue to scale harder into the late game. But at this point, Invictus Gaming are very strong in these skirmishes and these 5v5s as long as they set up appropriately, especially with the amplified damage from the Vladimir ultimate if the Shy is also participating in the fights. So I expect IG to actually just force fights.
Jackie Love's going to be able to pick up a big item for himself as well with the Blade of the Ruined King, picking himself up 3 against the 1.5 that Jin Zhao has in the Essence Reaver Zeal. And that's going to be a scary Ezreal to deal with just 22 minutes into the match. Even Athena stepping up here does not want anything to do with that AD carry.
I'm not here for you. I'm just here for the minions. Don't mind me.
And normally you should be afraid of Cassidans if you're an AD carry. You want to be at least 3 screens away from them if you're alone.
Doesn't know where anyone is because no one has really any vision or control over this river. And so now I'm curious to see how Invictus Gaming, who have been a pretty strong Baron control team in the LPL, are going to set this one up, because it's harder to place down your triangle vision and cover all of your flanks, especially against a team like BLG, who are known for those deep TP flanks.
Well, they have the vision controlled now. Invictus Gaming have been able to set that up. There are a couple wards placed in the Baron pit that have not been swept out by Invictus Gaming, so BLG do have some vision for themselves.
But Invictus Gaming are split. You can actually see a lot of pings that's going down on the Mountain Dragon right now, so IG just effectively blew their entire load of wards on securing vision around the... Hello, Rookie.
Looking to try and lock it.
Whoa.
What? Where are you going? You're meant to go back to base, not in and out?
That was a right-hand turn. He just pivoted on a dime.
Somehow had enough time to get a burger from that drive-through and get out safely, but burnt both his summoners for it. BLG almost get a pick.
What I was saying is that all of IG's vision has been spent on the top side of the map. So while they want to approach the dragon and it is up, they don't see anything here, which is why BLG were able to attempt a pick like this. But fancy footwork from Rookie, throws the wall to make sure no one can follow over the wall to get him, and then zips to safety.
Gets out alive, which is the important thing.
It looked flashy.
It did. That pick there could have been detrimental to IG. BLG just gets some control over the rest of the map.
Also
with chunking him out.
That they got the Mountain Dragon, which I don't believe we caught due to the replay.
Yep, next Dragon to spawn will be an Infernal Drake at about 30 minutes into the match. They're trying to lock down SKS here. Good charge gets him away from the Flag Drag combo.
And the thing is pressure is now on for IG. Again, they know that they have this tiny window where in a full 5v5, they should be stronger than BLG. When that next Infernal comes up, Jin Zhao's going to have his completed itemization. Camille's going to be that much stronger. It's not as clear-cut of victory. So I like the fact that they're trying to force tempo a bit on the game.
Jackie Love being fairly aggressive there against Road. Arcane shifts straight on top of him without too much vision. During this time, though, Mason J's been able to get good damage onto the bottom lane inner turret. The Shy rotates back down. But that turret has already been set up to be taken down later on if another play can be made by BLG like the last.
And BLG, they're doing it, Fish. They are playing the 1-3-1.
Slowly but surely. Rookie does have a turret next to him, so he can defend against this Cassidy gank.
We wanted growth. We wanted more plays.
The game's gone exactly how we expected it to. IG were dominant in the other game. BLG The only unexpected thing was they put up such a good fight during that early game. They were rotating around the map fairly well, making sure Athena was kept comfortable in the mid lane. In fact, the only pick that IG had been able to get was against Road in the bottom side of the map earlier in the game. Besides that, it's been the BLG show.
And I feel like a lot of that does fall on Ning. Ning really kind of fell into the wayside. He wasn't as proactive as we normally see from him, trying to make a lot of plays happen with Rookie in particular, which that makes sense. Ning and Rookie, they've been kind of the bromance of Invictus Gaming before, you know, new superstar Jackie Love came about. But it just wasn't successful. A lot of wasted time and wasted opportunities where SKS was making a lot more efficient plays around the map.
But just through brute force alone, as well as the natural dominance that IG have with their champion pickups, they are still the ones that control the lead. They're still by the same margin as from what we checked in earlier through the early game, which is about 4,000 in their advantage. They also have the Infernal Dragon picked up, which will help them out later on in the match.
Of course, a lot of that pressure and dominance was leveraged by the Shy, as he's now going to go 2v1. We'll see what IG do with this. They're heading towards the Baron.
These are both the teleport users for BLG, so they have to take down the Shy nice and quick. Can they? He uses the Sanguine Pool, gets out for a little bit longer. Is it enough? Because IG already have Baron at half health. SKS goes in, he says, let's fight, straight off the bat. Ning gets knocked down by the ultimate coming out from Sejuani. Road jumps in as well, has to get away from that Baron aggro. Jackie Love's trying to cut this one out. Already snipes off one kill, jumps straight towards Athena. Rookie's going forward as well. Amazing J creates the arena, but he's going to fall straight inside of it. Jin Zhao though is going forward. Double kill for Jackie Love, but it's not enough. It will be BLG to get the team fight, and they're locking down the poor Rookie. Jackie Love's trying to cut this one out. Looks to go against SKS, but Jin Zhao over the road. He will save his jungler, and BLG pick up a team fight.
And the jungler is still alive, which means the smite is still available here. You can see it's just coming off of cooldown. AJ trying to grab some spare health, and I think they're going to start it.
They will start this Baron. Yes, the Shy has teleport available, so it's still a little bit tricky for BLG. Immediately casting it into the backside of the pit. Has flash as well. This could be a disaster right here. Does he go in? Jumps in. Doesn't get stolen, but still takes down Camille. Jin Zhao now trying to cut this out. Look at his health bar. Where did it go? The Shy pulls out a magic trick with a double kill, but it's still Baron to BLG.
That was so close, though, from the Shy. He flashed over just as the Baron was going down. Was almost the hero that IG deserved, but such a great cross-map play from BLG. We talk about their deep teleports, and it looks a little bit dodgy as Athena comes in here first and then just gets absolutely annihilated. But AJ, the captain, the shot caller, he cleans it up. He puts everyone in a massive arena, and Jin Zhao is off to the side, just dishing out so much damage.
Big burst of damage came in from the final Rift Walk of Athena as well, chunking out everyone that was stuck inside that Hextech ultimatum. But BLG are still waiting for their top lane as well as bottom laner to respawn. During this time, IG take another turret for themselves.
And that's the thing, we come out of this replay, we're celebrating BLG, great cross-map play, incredible team fighting, they secure the Baron, yes, the Shy trades back some kills, tries to make the hero play, and then boom, Invictus Gaming still pushing up mid, like, no problem.
Yeah, the advantage that BLG got from that last team fight, as well as a Baron take Frostgurn, is about 1,000 gold, because IG is still 3,000 gold ahead of them.
But I just love... That feels so bad because I was like, yes, gank the top laner with the teleports, teleport into the team fight, win the team fight, take the Baron. And
But
now
no.
here we are.
They're going to try and take another turret for themselves. The mid lane outer turret has been taken down. BLG were really waiting for them.
That much closer. A lot of standing gold, a lot of outer towers that were available.
But
Take that blue.
IG's still defending fairly well.
That's your blue, Athena.
If you ever taste it, that is.
He's taking it.
BLG might be positioning for a fight here, but without the teleports from Amazing J, and the Shy being much closer on the map, might not be one they want to take. Still being very aggressive. Infernal Dragon comes up in 30 seconds.
Yeah, BLG trying to rip IG around the map. Part of the problem was that the side waves needed to be taken care of, and so IG were able to consolidate, tempo. They had more people that came alive after the post-Baron fight because of the Shy's damage, as well as the fact that he had teleported, so he was immediately there to prepare the wave. So it was a good trade-back play, and I think this Baron's pretty much been neutralized. We'll see if BLG are able to utilize it to grab priority over mid lane that allows them access into Infernal, but you can see, just simply Azir standing across them is like, your Baron buff means nothing to me.
But it is enough for BLG to try and contest for this next Elemental Dragon. They have set up around the river. The Shy is still cutting them off. In fact, they might have caught out Athena here, forced to use the Zhonya's, and Ning almost stops him from being able to use the Rift Wall, but is able to get out of there. Takes a bit of damage from the ultimate of Ezreal.
You know, I said 6 minutes ago that this could be the dragon fight that BLG would need because they would have the power spikes on Kassadin, they would have the power spikes on Jin Zhao specifically. Look at that, you know, the... Wow, he actually went for Hex Shrink. I was going to say, he's going to have triple attack speed item as well as the Essence Reaver. Now I can see why he's not necessarily doing as much damage as he needs to.
Nope, he's got that Hex Shrink to try and stay alive a little bit longer. Amazing J's going to get locked down. Good use of the ultimate to jump away from Baolan's combo. He will live, but can BLG defend this bottom lane in the turret?
Just little picks of BLG. They're losing their health bars at the most inopportune times, and it's allowing IG that, even though BLG should have tempo control, they can't do anything. And IG are just kind of, again, pushing them around the map. Now setting up a trap, waiting for them to walk towards this blue buff and try to find another pick.
If you take a look at the items that have already been picked up here, Jackie Love has his Lord Dominic's Regard picked up. BLG's blue buff respawns. IG are looking to try and take that one away. Athena can't stop him from taking the basket, but they go in. Big engage coming out for Roe. Athena gets the first chunk of damage down, but he's taking too much of a turn. Jumps on top of Jackie Love, but it's not enough. Meanwhile, in the back line's the Shy. He's able to go one-on-one against Jin Zhao. No one from BLG can save him.
And the thing was, is Invictus Gaming were there first. They set it up first, and even though Road is able to get a gorgeous knockup, there's zero follow-up from BLG. Great access to the backline from the Shy. Just annihilated Jin Zhao.
Just disconnected scenes coming out from BLG in that team fight. Now IG are pushing through the bottom lane. Bottom lane inhibitor is already going to be taken down nice and quick. Do they keep pushing for more?
It looks like they're going to. They do have Azir as well as Ezreal still alive.
That's aggressive from the Shy. Flashing forward, throws down the ultimate. First Nexus turret's going to fall. SKS in trouble, gets instantly melted. Road tries his harder, but it's not going to be enough. Only Amazing J left alive, but Rookie delivers him to the rest of Invictus Gaming. It was a prolonged match, but it's IG that take game one.
And the thing was, is this is off the back of BLG making a great Baron play. And yet, it felt like as soon as we came out of it, Invictus Gaming take mid, they take Infernal Drake, they've got the blue buff, made 2 picks, and suddenly the game's over. What happened?
If you covered the gold for Oscar and for the entirety of that match, I would have thought that BLG were winning the whole way.
Always behind gold. I don't think there was a single moment where they had a gold lead.
Nope. Not even after a big 5-on-5 fight, not even after Baron buff gets taken down. They were still always behind Invictus Gaming, who just led from start to finish, and it took them some time to be able to get back to the match and actually fight as a team against IG.
But
against BLG, but they got there.
It felt like it was very deliberate, however, that Invictus Gaming always had, you know, their breath. They understood what they were doing. They never felt like they were panicked or forced to make a very pro or a reactive type of play. Yes, the Baron area was fumbled. If that's going to be the one area that you kind of put a magnifying glass and ask, okay, well, what happened here? But everything else, IG were just very controlled. And that's what's terrifying, because IG's #1 heal have always been the chaos, the unpredictability, the fact that they have always been their worst nightmare. And now that seems to be disappearing.
Seems like they're doing absolutely fine whenever they're thrown into the Chaos Pit. For the side of BLG, though, they worked so hard to try and shut down the Shy. Constantly trying to make sure they could send multiple people up whenever they were split pushing with the Camille, but it just wasn't enough. Even though they got a few kills onto Vladimir, he still did fine in the late game, was still a proactive member of the team.
And a lot of that was the byproduct that it was an Infernal Drake. So the fact that SKS didn't want to commit to helping out AJ, even though he'd kind of gotten that, not early advantage against the Shy, but he was trying to make moves, getting involved with the mid lane, trying to prioritize control over the top side of the map. And again, if we have to pick one single winning side for BLG, it's always going to be that top side. But then you have the threat of there's an Infernal on the bottom side, we can't let it go. And then the indecisiveness meant that Invictus Gaming got both. They won the top side of the map, they got the Infernal, they opened up the mid lane, and everything fell apart.
And they picked up lots of gold leads throughout the early game, especially going over towards Jackie Love, who dished out tremendous amounts of damage and was always one step ahead of Jin Zhao when it came to the item bill. Every single team fight just seemed to be the Ezreal dishing out the most amount of damage in the fight.
Didn't help Jin Zhao that they had fallen behind, that he felt he needed to go for early defensive itemization, so it delayed the Xayah power spike when they really needed over that second Infernal fight. So unfortunately, just a chain reaction type of events that led to BLG's loss.
And BLG, they tried to pick up the late game team fights and they picked up one, just wasn't enough. IG secured that game. To break it down a little bit further, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Cheers, guys, and we're actually going to send this one all the way back to the Champion Select and take a look at these team compositions to see how this one actually shook out. Because if you look at these team comps specifically from Invictus Gaming, well, you're looking for scaling, right? Looking at those big 5v5s. On the opposite side, you're going to have to look towards creative ways to get into those fights.
Yeah, we'll get to Invictus Gaming in a second, right?
Yeah.
BLG, they were the losers in this game, #1, but they had so many strengths in their draft. And what's curious to me is, again, they played towards them at really good moments and then unfortunately blundered at others. But the strength of the composition first, right? It's a 1-3-1 comp. The strength of the comp is the 2 1s, not the 3. It's a Xayah and Rakan that are very hard to kill. So yes, they can survive any kind of trades. Invictus Gaming can still attack that 3 very successfully. There should be absolutely nothing that they can really do in the 3-man. It's the 2 1s that are strong. It's the Kassadin that can split push. It's the Camille that can split push. Now, unfortunately for BLG, there was a Vladimir to contrast that. And so there was no real situation where a 1-3-1 could be put fully into effect, where there was someone fighting a Vladimir and being successful. The best thing we saw from them, and this is why I liked their adaptations in their composition, was actually sending 2 people down to the Camille constantly. Down to the Vladimir constantly, killing the Vladimir constantly, and both of them, of course, having teleport. They have diversity in such a simple strategy, and they were executing on that. So BLG's composition, 1-3-1, makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately for them, the 3 can't really compete with how good IG's 5-man was.
Right, because BLG were able to stall and try and get away from the encroaching doom that was the Invictus Gaming composition, but eventually that caught up to them. Some of that was also because of the dominant scene out of the bottom lane, specifically from JackeyLove. You know, it wasn't just in those team fights, but JackeyLove very much set up the team for success. As the Shy was winning the top lane, JackeyLove was able to do the same in the bottom lane.
Yeah, JackeyLove was having an absolute blinder of a set on game 1 rather in this set so far. His mechanics have been on point with the Ezreal. All of the skill shots have been connecting. And the reason that we highlight this as a major play for you isn't just that JackeyLove gets a kill. It's that Ning was down there in the first place. And during all of this time, Vladimir's pushing top lane in the 1v1. So we just saw the perfect encapsulation of IG winning laning phase and just being so dominant through the first 10 minutes of the game. As a result of that laning phase, they build up to like 4,000 gold in the lead roughly, and they can usually maintain that and slowly accelerate that through big moments when Ning decides to take the plunge and make these plays. That was one of those moments, and unfortunately for IG, from that moment, it wasn't constantly smooth sailing to finish the rest of the game out, but they still looked reasonably in control for most of it.
I mean, that's true, but it was only really the strengths of BLG at that point which are able to keep them in the game, because you look towards BLG, what comes to mind? Team fighting, of course. And then when you get to a team fight, BLG are able to win it, but eventually that doesn't matter because of what we saw from Invictus Gaming as the game continued.
And this is the team fight that BLG are able to win. Now, I do want to put a small spotlight on JackeyLove throughout this fight. BLG win the entire fight in the end result, and they look fantastic from this, but the way that JackeyLove is able to navigate team fights with Rookie is something that looks outstanding. Right now, Rookie is doing damage, yes, but he's also keeping JackeyLove alive. They've fully acknowledged their role in this team composition because the bottom lane was so far ahead that they can make big plays like this. So for the most part, it is JackeyLove hard carrying for IG in that game, with Rookie keeping him alive. The goal for IG in their team composition is just to kill the carries that are trying to kill JackeyLove. Kill them faster than they can kill you, because the 1-3-1 of having the Camille and the Kassadin split pushing is great, but when they team fight, they're not tanks. They have to assassinate, they have to flank, and they have to get to the back line. And Rookie, by having the Azir, can kind of remove a flank completely by just using the ultimate, and they kill the one remaining member every single time. It was very smart from IG.
It was, and eventually Invictus Gaming were able to take the game. BLG try and fight back, but really just don't have enough of the tools. They have the team fighting, but there's not enough in the arsenal really for them at that point to try and win the game from there. Maybe they need to move into the second game now and actually just look at a different way to try and win the game. Maybe actually just try and meet Invictus Gaming on the field with a 5v5 composition and just try and win from there.
There's a way where you can draft for, instead of just like having a really good split push, instead of having a really good 1-3-1, just have a really good team fight composition, right? Something that you excel at, you could actually accentuate that further and just have the best team fighting composition that you could possibly have. The other side to it, though, is that you could potentially have a really good laning phase-based composition, something that IG excel at as BLG instead, to counteract their strengths, try and reduce the amount of lead that IG get, and thereby have a better team fight because the gold difference is significantly less. I think those are two very good options for BLG coming into of the second game that they should 100% be considering.
But no matter what they do, it's always going to be a risk because you're playing into Invictus Gaming, who pound for pound almost always have the stronger lanes. You know, you expect bot lane to win, you expect mid lane to win, and you expect top lane as well, the Shy to win, who also picks up our MVP in this one on his incredible Vladimir play. He was able to not only just win his lane, but constantly draw pressure away from the rest of his team from BLG.
If Jackie Love was the difference in team fights, the Shy was the difference through his superior laning right now. We saw a Vladimir coming out of him, we saw a Morello Nomicon as well with the itemization changes on 8.4, and we saw absolute dominance from him in any kind of 1v1s. The fact that people had to send to him to deal with him at the very least and contain him from going berserk was a big part of why IG's rest of the map were able to control it so actively.
Yeah, so heading into the second game now, are you expecting it to be the 2-0 from Invictus Gaming? I mean, it seems like a very easy bet to take.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It certainly should be.
All right, well, those are Rusty's thoughts. For now, we are going to send to a quick break before we come in for the second game between Invictus Gaming and BLG.